What's up, guys? It's Thug. Today, we're covering Throne and Liberty because in this video, it's very awful, and to some people, it's good, but I don't know. We're going to be open-minded here, and we're going to dissect everything, all right? So I hope you, ladies and gents, enjoy this video. Have a wonderful day. Take care. So first off, what I like to start by saying is that everyone has their different opinions on video games. All right, so I'm here to agree, disagree, and pretty much see, both sides of the situation of good and bad. But let's start this video really quick.
Oh boy, I have just finished a 15-hour Throne and Liberty stream, and the game has some serious issues that I'm going to show you in this video. I also streamed it on Twitch, and if you want to watch me tomorrow, I'll be doing a similar length stream, then you can find the link in the description. For now, let's jump into the game and show you the problems. It boils down to two main things. One of them is combat, and the other one is autoplay. And the first one I'm going to talk about is combat, and of course...
Well, automatically, autoplay sounds pretty bad. I don't think this game should have autoplay. I think that's more like on the mobile side, but let's let them continue really quick and then we'll kind of get into that.
Plus, the game is 100% tab target. Like, I'm pressing tab here and you can see it cycling through. If I had a ranged ability, which I don't currently have on me, obviously if I did that ability, it would attack whoever I was targeting. Tab target through and through. You can actually also press C and do this thing where you can then select who you have. So definitely 100% tab target. There's no doubt about that. And that's not really the main problem, although for some people that actually is a deal breaker. The main problem is just how static the combat is. And first I'll show that with melee. What you do is you double left click. There is quick to move, but I've turned it off. I'm using WASD. And what you might notice, I am attacking, everything looks sort of fine, but if I try and move at all, I don't actually do any damage. There is no moving in this game. There's literally no movement. If you do any movement, you're not going to do any damage. If I try an ability, it literally stops you and you can't move. I was still pressing the move key there, but it actually wasn't moving. It just did the ability. That's fine in a way, but the movement for me is an absolute killer. It makes this game feel very, very static. If I try this with a...
Okay, so I don't think it's really quite a killer in a way. I understand where he's coming from. Like, you can do that in Final Fantasy 14, move and attack. You can do that in Elder Scrolls, move and attack. I guess in this type of approach, it'll kind of be curious to see how, find higher level bosses and enemies and, seeing what type of challenge that brings to the table, especially when you got a bunch of mobs on you. So I kind of look at that as a challenge. So I don't think it's quite of a deal breaker yet until we're actually in the game and towards, I guess, end game content to see what's actually going on. But let's have him finish here.
Ranged attack, it's a similar feeling. I'll not do it on that one because they're going to die a little bit quickly. I'll do it, well, this is the same kind of mob, but not really a problem. So basically it does that. I'm very static. If I start moving, then I'm doing no damage. I have to sort of stand still for quite a while, and it just feels very archaic. It's very problematic. Now, if I'm moving and I want to do an ability, what happens is the ability roots me in place. It does the ability, and then I keep moving. Same thing with this other ability, and so, it's annoying and slow, and it's just stupid.
I don't think it could be that annoying. I think as long as it doesn't interrupt your abilities. Hopefully not, but hopefully it doesn't interrupt the abilities. I don't think it's that crazy problematic. I'm pretty sure that's something they can obviously adjust and work on and stuff like that.
No, there is another thing that happens that what can happen is that you can do an active block. So there's a block like that, but really you only need to use that when they do a purple attack. So they do this purple circle and you have to sort of time the block. That much I actually quite enjoy. You're actually sort of actively involved in that. That one's okay, but for most of the time, these mobs they're going to die too quickly. I'm not going to be able to show you that. Every time you block, it does use your stamina though, and that's sort of part of the battle when you're doing against good monsters. So not only that though, you'll notice that you can sort of turn these abilities on and off a little bit, and what this means is if I just double click, the game itself, I'm going to show you my hands, the game itself will just use the abilities. You can turn on auto abilities basically, and it just does it for you. For me, this is really the killer of the game. I almost can't forgive it because the combat just feels so clunky. Now, it's worth noting that my Wi-Fi, my Korean Wi-Fi...
Okay, so yeah, autoplay is a thing for me too. I think that can be problematic, I guess, but then again, depending on why they even put that in the game, right? Like, I doubt you're going to be on autoplay when it comes to like a big giant boss raid or something. I doubt that's going to be a thing. If it's for like, I guess, these lower level missions just to get things out of the way because it's pretty damn long, then I could see like it's okay. But at the same time, like, I also feel that autoplay should not be in a AAA game unless it's like for like some mobile stuff. That's some like mobile that's some mobile game mechanics right there. Like, I really don't like that. That sounds a little sketchy to me. Like, just for them adding that in this game, that kind of draws me back just a little bit, but I'm not quite out because, like I said, it all depends on how far you get in the game and how difficult them big higher level bosses are. Like, like I said, I doubt you're going to be on autoplay, so I guess it's not a true game breaker, but that does sound kind of cheap though. It is pretty cheap just to have autoplay in any type of AAA game. That's pretty cheap. I don't like it.
Not actually up to the task here. Look, I'm not going to elaborate, but yeah, I'm sure you can extrapolate some of the data. So my ping is not particularly great. I'm sure that's not helping with clunkiness, but I'm led to believe that a lot of the Koreans are like feeling the same way that I do. So combat really clunky, you can't move and attack, and that would be okay for some like channeled abilities, but even in World of Warcraft like Classic, you could auto attack and move, and it just sort of felt a lot smoother. Here you don't really have that, everything feels clunky. And I did a little bit of PvP, it's literally the same thing in PvP, it doesn't feel like it changes. The PvP was sort of like one-on-one rather than say 200 versus 200, so I had no idea how this will scale up.
Well, that is pretty interesting because like in the PvP maps, let's be quite honest, like in Elder Scrolls, for example, online, dude, like everyone is everywhere, flying, casting abilities and blah blah blah, just running across hills, running over. It's just very, I feel like that's more problematic than this, because imagine like, now no one's gonna run away from, right? When they actually run away, guess what? It's like putting your gear to the test, like that actual challenge, that static actual one-on-one battle. Like, you're not going to see this guy run from here where he's at now all the way in those bushes, hide, jump over a rock, go all crazy. I'm very curious. That's actually interesting to see how all that static gameplay will play out. That's not a game breaker to me at all. It just sounds pretty interesting. So I but I can see how that can be annoying for some players. So I'm agreeing and disagreeing with them at the same time. So
I don't think this system is going to get better as the leveling goes. Yes, you might get quicker attacks, you might get less cooldowns, but I can't see any world in which this combat just miraculously starts improving. Now, for my taste, it's archaic. It doesn't really belong in a game that's in 2023. There will be some people who enjoy it. Maybe if you're an old school RuneScape fan or something like that, maybe you like the original Lineage games 1 and 2 or what have you. But for me, most people are not going to like this system. It just doesn't feel good enough for them.
yeah, I understand that point too, being 2023. Everyone's all about that movement. You know what I mean? Like fluid, gameplay, just like. Yeah, I can see how that could be considered like some type of old school thing, but I mean, you never know. It could still be good. That doesn't mean the game's gonna be bad by any means. Like, this game could still be quite a damn hit. I don't know about the autoplay though, but I'm just saying.
Day and age, it's just bad. And then I'm not going to go into the details about every little system that's in this game in this video. That I'll probably do like a longer sort of, not like a first impressions, but maybe like a review or something like that. But the next key problem is autoplay, and autoplay has two interesting modes. There's an online and an offline, and all you do is you have like it's called astral hunting. You have some settings that you can sort of change, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to press T. And what's going to happen is I'm going to show.
Settings,
and what's going to happen
you can change.
is I'm going to press T. It's called astral hunting. You have some settings that you can
scan range, hunt near start location, maintain target while moving, exclude other. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, to add autoplay, man, there must be a lot of content in this game. I really don't like autoplay and just in general. Like see everyone running around like AI bots and stuff. I don't really like it, but I kind of understand in some occasions.
Can sort of change. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to press T. And what's going to happen is I'm going to show you my hands, and the game is literally just going to play for me. The abilities that I turned on to be auto, it knows to use them, so it's just going to jump around, and it's going to do.
And we'll be right back.
Damage auto, it knows to use them, so it's just going to jump around, and it's going to do damage, and it's going to kill them. Now it's also worth noting that there is a little pet with me. That pet is basically using an item that will heal me. So if I'm here and I end up taking too much damage, it'll start healing me. Now if I run out of those items, and you can see it's actually in the bottom right.
And that's because there's probably a stagnant game mechanics. That's why I think it probably just heals you. I was wondering what those things did, but now we know what the companions do.
Corner, then I'll not get healed. So there's a bit of a balance there, whether or not how much you want to pay attention. The game itself can go indefinitely, but whether or not your health can last indefinitely is another question.
Well, that's
but maybe
what I'm saying.
it's just worth lasting until you die. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, you might be able to, I could walk off, go have a poo, go, speak to my wife or whatever. What I actually did earlier today on stream was I went and put my kid to bed. Like, you can just do that while the game is playing itself. Like, I'm not playing this is live footage, it's not a video, and it is playing itself. Now, autoplay in itself, not necessarily always a problem, but combined with the clunky combat, it's just going to make this game feel really grindy. It does feel quite slow to level, and there's a few things where I'm like, it says kill 35 of them, and you just know that it's basically for auto playing. Now, it's probably not the quickest way to level. Somebody said that somebody got to level 15 in 2 hours, and I'm like level 16 in 15. However, I do have some like internet issues and stuff like that. Hey, you may have actually seen that purple attack there. I don't know if it was on screen or if it was just my imagination. And they're right. The quickest way is probably when you've got low ping to actually change the weapons and start using your abilities on cooldown, so that you're actually just like murdering through the enemies. But if you don't have that available to you, then you can do the auto hunting. Now, what you'll notice is that my health is going down, and yes, I'm getting a little bit every now and then, but it's actually going to go down too much. So when people said that you can only use it against mobs that are like 5 levels under, that's not a hard and fast rule. It's literally just, if you don't, you will eventually run out of health. Because
so I'm trying to figure out how the game is truly awful. Because, well, I mean, then again, it could be truly awful to his personal opinion, which, hey, that's fine. But for me, I don't, I can't really pinpoint a truly awful game. I mean, I pinpoint awful mechanic, which is definitely the autoplay. But
what's a little bit annoying is you can't set it to use your normal potions. Like, it won't use your normal potions. It only uses these
and auto abilities is kind of weird too.
Probably going to inevitably be like pay to win or something like that. But for now, there is autoplay. Now, beyond that, and I'm not going to do it right now because I'll actually log off. If I go into the menu and I try to exit this game, there is offline play. Now, that offline play you actually get if you buy the season pass, because in the season pass it's here, it says offline play. So if you get the premium season pass, it's very much like New World in that there's a free one and a premium one. I know this is similar to other games, but it is what it is. Then if you buy the premium one, you get that access to that offline play. Not sure how often that resets or anything like that, but it's definitely worth noting that that is a thing. And you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to go down to the beach where there's some low level mobs, and I'm going to let it autoplay for me. So let's see how much XP and gold I get. I've tested it, it definitely works. So it's definitely a thing. So let me just stop the autoplay and actually talk about what we have. You have really clunky combat, you have a grindy game, and you have autoplay. And I think they're all sort of like archaic systems in my mind.
And grind does not bother me, right? Grinding definitely does not bother me. That's not a big deal. I just hate when a game's too easy. Like, for example, like personal opinion, Final Fantasy 14, I felt like that was very like easy, bro. Like I don't, the only time it sucked is when you're not a tank or when you're not a mage, because you don't get no party any quicker. That's the only way you're gonna get parties quicker. But I'm kind of feeling the little difficultiness of this game a little bit.
Honest. The problem is, if you take away the auto combat, you're going to be left with an incredibly grindy game. And for me, though, these two things are going to culminate in a dead game in the West. I think it's an absolute shambles. I don't think this game should be released in 2023. I think it needs a 2-year delay, and I think they need to rework the combat. It's that simple, and I think without it, the game is dead. Now, there are pros to this game. Like, I actually think visually the game's quite good. I like some of the look of the mechanics and systems and stuff like that. There's some questionable ones. For example, the marketplace, which is where you do all your trading and stuff like that. This is actually only in this Lucent currency. This Lucent currency, though, is literally a paid currency. Now, you might be able to get it in game, I'm not 100% sure. It's not in the gold currency, basically.
That's whack.
It's in a paid currency, which means you can sell
For the
stuff
marketplace,
for
huh?
in-game currency. So you can get in-game currency, but someone somewhere is actually buying in-game currency to buy this stuff. And that's inevitably going to be pay to win, because you can get gear off here, you can get resources. It's a rabbit hole, and they've gone too far down it, I think. So how would they fix this? The first thing they need to do is make it so that you can attack on the move. The game is far too static. Like, it's absolutely incredibly static, and I hate it. Like, it's just really boring to play in a way. There's just too much static combat. You can't move. I'm just going to let it autoplay, because why wouldn't I? I'm here. But the autoplay is going to do almost as good a job as I would. It's just not going to be quite as quick. Like, it's just not good. It needs to be so that you can move whilst you're attacking. So I can run around and I can attack. There's probably some cleave, but really it just doesn't go far enough. Like, there should be like a combat mode where I can still do damage, but maybe I'm not going quite as fast or something. It just feels really clunky without it.
But my thing is, like, you're kind of just in one spot, like, grinding the whole time, unless you're doing like missions and it's telling you to do these like little mini missions. I can see how that could be annoying, where you'd probably put it on autoplay, like, hey, collect 5 wolf skins off of wolves, and then you're attacking like 10 wolves just to get 5 skins.
In my opinion, and I really think that it's a big deal breaker. So they should make it so that you can move. Basically, your legs and your body should be not quite independent, but you should be able to attack and still move. That would fix a big portion of this game. I'd say about 50% of it, or maybe 33%. And the next thing is, obviously, in the West, I do not think we should necessarily have this astral hunting, this auto hunting thing. I know it's common in other games, but I think a game you're trying to sell to the Western market probably shouldn't have it. But it's not as simple as just removing it, as I said, because if you do just remove it, you're going to have XP issues because the game's quite grindy. I think with an expectation that you will use it. And then if you don't use it, then you're going to have to do it yourself. And if you're doing it yourself with bad combat, that's an issue. So you sort of need to fix the combat and remove it, and then change the actual XP per level you get and stuff like that. The whole XP curve needs to change. Without those two things, this game is going to be an absolute failure in the West. I completely believe that. I don't see any way that's not the case. There'll be some players, and there'll probably be some whales, but I'll tell you right now, that's not for me. This combat is not for me. A lot of people are saying, like, what did you expect? It's similar to Lineage and stuff like that. You know what I sort of expected? A slight modernization. This feels like regression. It does not feel like we're getting any better. It feels like we're getting worse. I am a little bit worried about Amazon. This is literally an Amazon Games article, and they wrote when they got the license to this game, they said Throne of Liberty is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game that combines story-driven adventure and action combat. Now, the story I've been mostly skipping.
Then again, we also got to think about, like, in certain missions, main storyline missions, if they even let you do autoplay on those, or even dungeon fights, they probably don't let you do autoplays in dungeons. They probably don't let you do autoplays in PvP, just like things like that. So those are little things to, consider. Yeah, I'm probably done with this video right now, but it definitely, to me, does not make the game awful, in my opinion. I can understand it's probably like a bad direction to go down, or we don't really know that because this is just the beta, so they're not able to play or get really far in the game to even see if it's like worth it, like, to get through that autoplay stuff, right? Because like I said, towards the end game, you're probably not using autoplay. That's probably just for like a grinding thing, as he said. So I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion, but yeah. I mean, I don't think it's an awful game. I think I'm gonna definitely give it a try. Definitely when it comes out and see, what the autoplay looks like, and then we'll touch base then as well. So I can give you a different review on my side. And right now I'll look into more videos and do reviews on those review videos. All right, so peace out. Yeah.